Straight ahead on 12 News Weekend, police need your help finding vandals in Crystal. Then,
I wanted to do something to give back to the community.
a holiday shortage of willing hands to work. Learn how you can get involved. But first, a Golden Valley man receives an honor that's 44 years overdue. 12 News Weekend starts right now. A Golden Valley man finally gets a military medal that's been a long time coming. Hello, everyone. I'm Shannon Slatton.
And I'm Delane Cleveland. Fred Jennis is now the proud recipient of the Purple Heart. He sustained a leg injury during an enemy attack and was recognized for his sacrifice at Golden Valley City Hall. But it's an honor that was 44 years in the making.
On behalf of the United States Senator Amy Klobuchar, the U.S. Naval Reserve, and the City of Golden Valley, we welcome you to today's Purple Heart ceremony.
There are some things in life that are worth waiting for.
Let it be known that he who wears the military order of the Purple Heart has given his blood in the defense of his homeland.
Only in the case of Fred Jennis,
This is an award that is long overdue for a man who gave so much for his country.
he's had to wait a lot longer for this recognition than most. In 1969, Fred was a combat engineer in the U.S. Navy supporting the intelligence community of South Vietnam.
On December 19, 1969, Fred was wounded in combat when the enemy attacked his team's compound.
Despite the injury to his right leg, he never sought recognition for his sacrifice until 2004.
I can't think of anyone that's so deserving so many years later as your grandpa.
Only to find out the Navy had no record of his service.
In those intelligence operations, it was hard to get those records. They were classified.
But this past fall, Fred finally got those records, and with Senator Klobuchar's help,
Thank you for this honor.
he finally got his special day.
After 44 years, I'd like to remember the CB team, all 12 who have passed on before me.
The people in his combat engineering team weren't here to see this day. Instead, Fred was surrounded by his friends and loved ones. But as he proudly wears the Purple Heart on his chest, it serves as an honor for all in his CB unit.
It was a team effort, and we would have never, survived the 6 different combat actions that we were in 5 months if it hadn't been a team effort.
Well, Fred Jennis is now retired, but he spends every week volunteering at the Minneapolis Veterans Hospital. Meantime, in addition to the Purple Heart, he also has a combat action ribbon for his service in Vietnam.
New townhomes and other multifamily housing units are fueling a building boom right now in the Northwest Metro. In Maple Grove, more than 60% of new home construction is multifamily units. Townhomes and other multifamily units are popular options for first-time home buyers and empty nesters looking to downsize. The building boom is also a sign of an improving housing market.
What does that say?
I think it comes to an affordability issue. As housing prices begin to rise again and housing stock becomes a little bit more expensive, then multifamily units become attractive.
Maple Grove and Plymouth come in just behind Minneapolis this year for the top 3 cities with the most housing units being built in the metro area.
In our Week in Review, Crystal police are asking for your help identifying the people who vandalized the activities building at Becker Park. A park official went to check on the building Christmas Eve morning and found broken mirrors, trash on the ground, and fire extinguisher foam everywhere. It's too early to know exactly how much damage was caused, but officials estimate it will cost at least $5,000 to clean up the mess.
It's going to affect a lot of programs. This building does get used year-round. They literally touched just about everything they could have in here.
Police hope someone has information that will lead them to the suspects. If you have any information, call them at 763-531-1020. There is a $500 reward if that information leads to an arrest and a conviction. In Golden Valley, a fire significantly damaged a home on Christmas night. The residents, a mother and her 2 children, were able to get out of the home safely after hearing the fire alarms go off about 2 a.m. Fire officials believe the fire started in the attic, but they were still investigating how it started. Firefighters say the time between Christmas and New Year's is always a busy time for fires. Well, 2 men have been convicted on charges of stealing thousands of dollars from ATMs in cities like Robbinsdale and Golden Valley. Derek Benedict of Hugo and Lyle Carpenter of Hastings were both convicted on 10 federal counts. According to the federal complaint, they stole more than $20,000 when they carried away an ATM from a drugstore in Robbinsdale back in October 2009. The next month, they were charged with taking an ATM that contained more than $30,000 from a drugstore in Golden Valley. Federal authorities say the thefts continued for more than 2 years in several cities. Well, the holidays are hard for one Brooklyn Park family.
Matt Elmore's family is trying to cope after a horrific accident earlier this month. Reporter Sonia Goins has more on his story.
He was amazing.
The lights are twinkling bright on the Christmas tree.
December used to be my very favorite time of the year.
But it's hard for Cindy Rainham to get into the holiday spirit.
I don't know if I'll ever be able to enjoy this month again.
She'll have to celebrate without her son, Matt Elmore.
I just want this year to be over with.
On December 7th, Matt drowned in a snorkeling accident near San Juan, Puerto Rico. He was 30 years old.
The day after he passed was his birthday.
Matt was vacationing with his wife, Brianna, his boss, and boss's wife.
And they were having so much fun.
But those good times quickly turned bad after an unlicensed guide took them out into the ocean and a huge storm came rolling in.
His boss actually started to go under. And he said he saw Matt turn around and start swimming out to him. And we believed that Matt was going to try to save him. And he just never made it.
His wife, Brianna, watched the tragedy unfold.
She was completely distraught, and I'm sure all of them were in shock.
Cindy Rainham went to Puerto Rico to retrieve her son's body.
I hated being there, but I hated to leave there. It was very difficult to leave my son behind.
Besides a wife, Matt leaves behind 3 young boys.
This is the 3 boys. Caleb's the oldest, Anthony's the middle, and Jackson's the baby.
Matt also has an extended family, his friends in AA.
7 years ago, Matt was addicted to meth.
Over the years, he's helped to lead others to sobriety.
So many people that said, you know, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be sober today. And that means so much. That means so much to me.
Cindy says she'll miss her son's smile, but she says his spirit will live on in the people that he's helped throughout the years.
I can't say enough good about that kid. You know, that will make him live on forever.
In Brooklyn Park, Sonia Goins, 12 News.
A fundraiser will be held on January 25th. You can also donate through any Wells Fargo bank. Coming up on 12 News Weekend, most nonprofits are overflowing with volunteers around the holidays, but not this one. See how you can help.
And later in sports, Armstrong's boys basketball team is lighting it up early this season.
But first, it's your AccuWeather forecast. With such cold temperatures, it's probably warmer in your refrigerator than it is outside your front door. Bundle up, folks. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. In rain, shine, or extreme cold like we're seeing this weekend, Habitat for Humanity is still building houses.
But many of its volunteers aren't as willing to work year-round. Renee Bonneau tells us how the organization suffers from lack of help in the winter.
About 6 years ago, Esther Fabes never dreamed she'd be working on a home construction site.
When I started, I had never done anything other than, dust and clean my own house.
Now she's at one each week. She and other volunteers with the Jewish Community Relations Council help at Habitat for Humanity sites throughout the metro every Friday.
I wanted to do something to give back to the community, and I like being active as I age, so I decided that it was perhaps something that I could do.
Twin Cities Habitat relies on regular volunteers like Fabes to keep work moving during the slow months.
A lot of folks think that we kind of shut down when the snow hits, but it's really far from the truth. We're still working full-time all year long.
Twin Cities Habitat knows how cold Minnesota winters get. That's why they try to schedule builds so that by the time it does get cold, most of the work is inside.
And there's plenty of work to do with less help to get it done.
Mostly in the summer times, the work camps, we've got those big groups every day, all summer long. Once we hit the winter, we just normally have 1 or 2 groups a week.
Building a house from scratch usually takes about 10 weeks, but this Crystal home is taking longer because of lack of volunteers. With closing dates to meet, delays like this can't happen.
Ready to paint.
Fabes is proof anyone can pitch in to help as long as he or she is dedicated.
You can do what you can do and you will learn a lot.
In Crystal, Renee Bonneau, 12 News.
And you don't need construction experience to volunteer. To sign up to help, just go to tchabitat.org. So it's not too cold to volunteer, and it's not too cold to get out and get on a bike either. Learn why winter is also bike riding season coming up.
Then a former Hopkins girls hockey star is back helping her old team as an assistant coach. That's coming up in sports with John Jacobson. Welcome back. John Jacobson joins us now with sports, and it is college football bowl season, but it sounds like there's one particular game we should be paying attention to. It's not the Gophers, but...
You're right. Some local players playing for a university not too far away, and they're having some great success. The North Dakota State University football team is getting ready to play for a national championship. Some local guys are playing key roles. Totino Grace High School graduate John Crockett rushed for 195 yards, including the 71-yard sprint to the 7-yard line on the Bison's first play from scrimmage in the second half of their FCS semifinal win over New Hampshire. Wayzata graduate Grant Olson is a senior linebacker for NDSU, who has been out since October with a knee injury. He was given a nice send-off by teammates and coaches in the fourth quarter. The Bison will play for their third straight national title on January 4th against Towson. It's been a pretty impressive start to the season for Armstrong's boys basketball team. Jay Wilcox has more on the Falcons.
Friday's thrilling comeback and overtime win over Osseo confirmed it. This Armstrong team is for real.
I'm pretty excited. I know we're all excited. Good start for us, but I mean, never settle. We're ready to shock some more people.
Off to a great season. We're pushing the pace, usually controlling the whole game. We have a bad first half sometimes. We pick it up in the second half. Overall, I feel like we're having a good season so far.
The Falcons were 19-9 last season. While they did graduate some frontline players, a number of younger guys saw extensive playing time, and it's paying off as they step into bigger roles this winter. The Falcons have now entered the top 10 in the Class 4A rankings.
It's probably been a while. I haven't really paid attention, and we've had some years where we've been in it, and some years where we've been in it early, and you're not in it at the end, and you don't want that. But yeah, I think our kids, it's probably a source of pride, and they want respect, and early on we were probably under the radar a little bit. Now we're not. So
December right now.
Armstrong entered the holiday break with a 6-1 mark. They'll try to keep it going at a familiar holiday tournament spot, Edina.
Yeah, it's a great tournament. A lot of good teams. Hopefully we can come out on top. It's over winter break. We get as much practice and playing it as possible for the end of the year. It just helps us get that much better.
Armstrong's hoping to carry the momentum from a strong December into the 2014 portion of the schedule.
After the holiday tournament, the Falcons get back into conference play January 3rd against Coon Rapids. Becky Kortum is probably the best girls hockey player to ever suit up for Hopkins. After 4 years of college hockey at the University of Minnesota, Kortum is back at her old high school as an assistant coach. Here's Jason Malillo with more.
Becky Kortum was Miss Hockey in 2009, her senior year at Hopkins High School, and led the Royals to the state tournament. Kortum is back at her alma mater this winter, giving back as an assistant coach.
I had such a positive experience in my high school career, and this program and Coach P gave me so much in my hockey career and in my life, so I just really wanted to come back, and I've known all the girls since they were really little, so it's been fun to watch them grow up, and I just wanted to do my part to give back to the program and try to help them have the best season they can.
It's important that she comes back and gives back because a lot of people spent a lot of time helping her, and our philosophy is when you have time, you got to come back and help out the program, and she's done a great job. We're lucky to have her. Our kids love her, and I couldn't ask for anything more.
Kortum went from Hopkins to the University of Minnesota, where she played 4 years for the Gophers, winning national titles in 2012 and 2013. With a hockey resume like that, Kortum can offer a lot to this current group of Royals.
I think that what I bring is something that helps these girls to figure out their path because they're on the path that I was on before, and I've had the experiences that hopefully a lot of them will have in the future.
Kortum graduated from Minnesota with a degree in physiology and wants to go to medical school. She's now going through the arduous task of applications and interviews and should start hearing back from schools in the spring. Jason Malillo, 12 Sports.
Becky tells us her first choice would be attend medical school back at the University of Minnesota. The girls look up to her, with that hockey resume, and as good a player as she was in high school and college. They listen when she tells them something on
And
the ice.
what a great opportunity to have, just be able to learn from her, for sure. Thanks, John. It's that time of year for New Year's resolutions. Many people will be hitting the gym.
Me included. But up next, meet a group of people who don't let the cold get in the way of a good, fun workout. No matter how cold it is outside or how much snow is on the ground, you can find a growing number of people on their bicycles.
For Travis Dorwheeler, a passion for bicycling has turned into a winter hobby. And as Cassie Bonstrom explains, a surprising number of other riders are following suit.
For these guys, there's something about that packed snow, the slippery trails, and the crisp winter air that makes them want to get out and bike.
It's just awesome.
Yes, they understand it may not be the traditional biking season. In fact, some would call these conditions less than ideal. But for this group of friends, it's all part of the fun.
Less traffic, and it takes a lot more guts to do it.
You get out and it's quiet, and it's just a great time to get out and ride.
A recent study by Bike Walk Twin Cities says while the number of bikers is lower in winter months, each year, more and more people in the metro area are venturing out and braving the elements.
It's now becoming something that's more transportation or trying to live a healthier lifestyle.
Travis Dorweiler has found a way to combine his passion and career. He manages a successful bike shop in Maple Grove. He's seen more and more customers interested in the extreme Minnesota sport of winter biking.
Whether it's going to be a fat bike like these or whether we're going to have a mountain bike with a studded tire.
But for those brave enough to do it, Travis recommends spending the extra money to do it safely.
Bigger, wider tires are definitely a must, or at least something that has traction for the ice and snow. And while not a necessity, these bar mitts are definitely a luxury to help keep your hands warm.
If you're well prepared, it can be an enjoyable experience and one heck of a workout too. But if you're wondering whether winter bikers slip on these snow and ice, well, they do.
Man down.
They just get right back up, brush off the snow, and continue on.
You get out there, it's a whole lot more fun than just putting the bike in the trainer and pedaling inside.
And there is even a Frozen Frolics bike race coming up in January at Elm Creek Park Reserve. So what do you guys think? Something you'd try?
I'd be like that guy in the ditch off the side of the trail, I think. That's hard work.
It'd be pretty hard because the trail is only so big there.
Well, it's funny, I remember when I was a teenager, for whatever reason, I decided to try going out and biking in the middle of winter. I did not have the fat, wide tires, and so I pretty much fell out in the ditch there and never again.
You were the guy in the snow, too.
I really was, yeah.
All right, well, it's going to be a cold weekend ahead, so folks need to bundle up if they are headed out to bike or walk. But thanks for spending part of your weekend with us. That's all the news we have for now. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Have a nice weekend. We'll see you again Monday at 4 o'clock.